I have been a massive fan of the Mountain Blade game series for a while now. It hasn't been out for that long, but I've been a fan since the beginning. And it is a really, really awesome game franchise. Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword did not disappoint in this regard. It is by far the best installment in the series, and although oftentimes it feels like an expansion rather than just a game on its own from, say, the last game, Mountain Blade Warband, it's still very good, and I really recommend buying it. Now, Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword is one of those games like you've never really heard of, but once you play it, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I never heard of this. I mean, the combat is absolutely spectacular, and it's everything you want in swordplay fighting. Now, the game itself, before we actually get into the best part of the game, which is the actual gameplay fighting, the game itself, at least single player, is basically a massive world that you run around, explore, and do whatever you want. You can, kill villagers, you can go to major cities or castles and try to invade them, provided you gather up a big enough army. You can get quests from village elders and like kings and mayors of cities and all that jazz, and you can literally just do anything that you can think of in like the setting of this game, just taking over things, becoming king of the world, becoming the most noble man in the world, whatever, you can do it in this game. Now, let me get into the actual gameplay. What's really awesome about this game is how precise and how well made the fighting is. For instance, when someone hits you with, say, a sword, right? You can block, and that would be a counter, and you would counter their attack. Obviously, you have to aim for where they're aiming because there's a bunch of different ways you can hit and you can block. So the real fun of the game is the intricacy of the actual fighting. It's just as intuitive as actual fighting. Just imagine real swordplay, and this is the game equivalent of that swordplay. This is how games should make swordplay fighting. This is how you do it. You aim for different body parts, you time yourself just right, you can basically block any attack that's coming at you that's a melee attack. So provided you have enough skill, one guy can theoretically beat tens or even hundreds if you have the right skill and proficiencies. Of course, in multiplayer, that's a bit different, whereas real people are not as dumb as this game's AI, and it probably wouldn't be as easy to beat a bunch of people. Although I have seen in other games of the Mountain Blade series in the past, and even in this one, as I've been playing the multiplayer for a few hours, I have seen some people taking on 3 or 4 guys at once, and coming close to winning or even winning those matches. So it is possible to just be a total badass. Now, of course, all of that goes out the window with the installment of the biggest addition to Mountain Blade in Fire and Sword, which is guns. Guns are a totally new ball game here. With a gun, you can more or less kill anyone with one shot, provided you hit him right and you're not too far away. And the only bad thing with guns is, of course, the aim is pretty bad. And when you're on horseback, the aim is even worse. But guns are definitely the premier way of killing someone, and it just looks really awesome. I mean, anytime I shoot someone that's running at me with a sword, I just feel like Indiana Jones in that movie where, he was at the market and this guy with like crazy sword skills is just dancing around and he just shoots him and moves on. That's the way you will feel. You will feel like a total badass. Of course, practically speaking, when a bunch of guys are running at you, you do have to just kind of mix in your gunpowder and all that. That takes some time, so the smart strategy would be to use your sword or axe or javelin, what have you, against a bunch of people that are close by. But if they're just running at you and there's a good deal of space between you, the gun or even the bows are also good. Not as much damage, but they're good, and they rapid fire much faster than guns. Those are also very good for ranged combat. Now, another great aspect that's been improved from the past games in the series is the graphics have been made a lot better. For instance, the sky looks really good, the environments during battles look really good. So I don't know if we should really call this like the smoothest graphics that you can get on the PC in 2011, but they are greatly improved. It's not the best graphics, but the game really does look beautiful now, except for the world map, which is just still ugly. I mean, for the next installment, Mountain Blade, I know you probably have to code the game totally different, but if you could just improve the world map, I mean, it's not a big deal, I get it, it's a world map. Really, it could just be a literal map without any graphics, and it would still be fine. But I think the game would just improve greatly if maybe there was no world map altogether and you just ran around the world like in Oblivion or you know, Fallout. That ideally would probably be the best, and then the game really would be a total knockout. And again, it is kind of, I am amazed that this game is from a somewhat indie developer. Not really indie now, because you know, Mountain Blade has brought them some notoriety, but it is strange that just a small little company can rise out of the ashes and make something this awesome and this groundbreaking in terms of actual fighting mechanics. It's great. It just shows you what the human mind can do. It shows you that the little guy can compete with big corporations like Capcom or what have you. Now, let's get to the actual bad part of the game, and that is the enemy AI. In the single-player campaign mode, the AI is pretty dumb. Let me just give you an example of how dumb the AI... How dumb is the AI? The AI is so dumb. Now, when I just first started the game, I had these bandits that I had to fight. There was one of me, and I had this companion, this guy I hired to fight along with me. You can have a whole bunch of people with you, by the way. You can hire a whole army. Provided you get enough money and you run around enough, you'll get like 100 people with you, or over 100, and then you can storm castles and really become king of the entire known world here. But I had one guy with me, and there's like these 26 bandits, and I started killing them, but unfortunately they beat us up, and they took us prisoner, right? But I killed a few of the bandits, and the bandits just ran around with us prisoners for a few days, and then we had a chance to escape, me and my companion. And then there were less bandits now, and we escaped, and I just attacked them again, and I killed a few more bandits, but they captured us again. So they ran around with me as their prisoner again, and again I managed to escape from them. This is automatic. You don't really die in the game. You just get captured. Or maybe you do die if you don't have enough money or something. I haven't really figured that out yet, but as far as I know, you can't die. You can only be captured. And the thing is, the AI is dumb because I kept like escaping from them and killing off a few, and then them capturing me to a point where it was like 5 bandits left. Like from the last time they captured me, and this time it was a much fairer fight. It wasn't 26 on 2, it was just 5 on 2 now, and I pretty easily, me and my companion, killed them finally. So also, like, if your army charges at an enemy, you can kind of walk around and just hit the enemy army from the back, and they won't be smart enough to turn around. Another bad thing is, like, the enemies just drop their guns and they attack with melee weapons when you're close by at, like, melee range. Like, a guy's about to shoot you. He's standing right there. One shot will kill you, but he just puts away his gun and attacks you with a sword. Because the game was programmed whereas, like, if you're close enough to a certain type of enemy, they just attack you, even if they're about to kill you with the gun. So the AI is not the best. But again, ultimately, this game, it's very easy to look past the fact that the AI is bad, because you will get bored of playing in a single-player campaign, and at that point you will go to multiplayer, and of course there's no AI there, just people just like you, and that's where the actual competitive gameplay comes into play, and it is absolutely stellar. Multiplayer has a variety of different game types. There's death matches where it's just a free-for-all havoc map where everybody kills everybody. There's team death matches or something like that where it's like teams basically attacking each other, like a major war with 2 factions. There's sieges where one team is in the castle, another team is attacking the castle, and it's their job to take over the castle, and things of that nature. So there's a big variety of the actual gameplay. And it's all really well done and really fun. Of course, the game is not without its quirks. As I've said, the AI is not the best. The map function, the actual map world as you travel is horrible. It looks awful. It looks like a PS1 game. And also there are some glitchy issues once in a while where some people might not be the most honest, and you might be fighting someone who's cheating online a little bit using some kind of mouse program that makes them click super fast or what have you. You know, there's a whole bunch of things you can do to cheat in the game, and there are or just simple lag. The game could get a little glitchy and the combat won't be as smooth and perfect as you'd like it to be. But ultimately, most fights are really good. It's very intuitive sword play. It's very good ranged combat, and it's just ultimately a really, really, really fun game. I really recommend it. Aside from its graphical flaws and once in a while technical issues, and of course the bad AI, this game is really fun in a single-player campaign because it is just fun to rise from nothing. Just a guy with a sack of dried meat and a bad, crappy horse to rise to be the king of every nation in your world. The multiplayer is just perfect, where it really does reward skill. You could have, if you're good enough, you could be one guy killing a whole bunch of people without dying once. So in that aspect, the game is absolutely wonderful, and I do recommend it. And it gets an official Stan Burdman rating of 8.5 out of 10. This is definitely one of those semi-indie games that is a must-own if you like what I had to say about it. If you think the game isn't good enough because of the bad AI and single player, the multiplayer really does make up for it, because in multiplayer the people are very good and you will get a run for your money if you want challenge. But in single player you can look past the AI just because of how fun the actual rising from nothing to becoming king is. By whatever means necessary, of course. You could be good or you could be evil, it's your choice. Thanks for watching this review. I might do some, let's plays of this game, Fire and Sword Mayhem, just to show you more of this awesome game, because I really love it, and I will be playing more of it. It's really fun. Goodbye, my friends.